Hello and welcome to Dyson Sphere program. Today we're going to start a new save. So as you can see by the screen and the title of the game, Dyson Sphere program it's about building a Dyson Sphere, which is a collection of solar panels around a star. It's obviously something that's pretty huge, seemingly daunting because stars, they're pretty big, but we're gonna start from the beginning and take you through the steps that you need to build a Dyson Sphere. So let's begin a new game. So there are a couple of options on this screen. You have your cluster seed, which is just a number that you can put in to get a new seed. If you have a lucky number you want to use, go for it. If you want to use the seed that I'm using, copy this number. You could also click random to get a new seed. Number of stars you can also change. You can only reduce from 64. There are mods to get more, but 64 is a good amount. For resource multiplier, this will multiply the amount of resources that nodes have. So if you think you need a little bit more, you can increase. I think it's fine the way it is. So let's click start game and get started. So you're going to immediately be put into this cutscene where it kind of flies you through the sun, not through the sun, around the sun, toward your planet. Through the sun would be a bit much. Although, luckily we don't burn up being this close to the sun. That would be unfortunate. He's going to tell you to steer the ship, but no matter what you do, you're going to be put in the same spot. So you don't have to worry about that. And we're landing in our predetermined spot, right between these two tiny nodes. And there's our guy! Our guy is named Icarus, and the first thing that we're going to want to do, the first thing that I'm going to mention is I have exactly one mod installed. It is just to disable the tutorial voice. You're going to hear the tutorial guy robot voice quite a lot. So listen to what he says, but for these videos, I'm going to be your tutorial voice. Lucky you, right? So first thing we want to do is right click to dismantle our little pod. It's going to take a little bit. Got this little circle indicating how long it's going to take. 3, 2, 1. And we got some hydrogen fuel rods. So first thing we'll talk about is Mecha Power. So as you can see on the bottom, there's this yellow bar, and it's slowly decreasing, or it's actually increasing, because I'm still. So we go to our Mecha panel, and we're not generating fuel because we have a lack of fuel. So we got these hydrogen fuel rods that we can put right in. As you can see, it's depleting, and that bar went up a lot quicker. If this bar depletes, you're going to move very slowly, and it's going to be a big pain, so always make sure that you have power inside of you. Early power is going to be trees and coal. So if we want to harvest trees, you just hold shift, right click, and you can click on a bunch. And that kind of queues up actions, which is pretty nifty. And then we can go and put more trees. We got some of these organic crystals we can put in, and wood. Now let's talk about science. So the main goal of this game, in addition to building a Dyson Sphere, is to finish out this tech tree and get to the end research. Okay. This end research requires all the science packs, 4,000 of them, and antimatter, which does require Dyson Sphere. So let's go back over here, and we have one option, electromagnetism, and this requires 10 magnetic coils. So we activate, but we don't have the item. So let's right click and see, or double click and see what we need. Lucky us, from the little pod that we demolished in the beginning. We need magnets and copper ingots, and we can make them. So let's make them. Now these are, each craft is going to make 2, so I click this button 5 times, and this 5 indicates that with what I have in my inventory, I can make 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And look at that. We're making stuff. Our research is researching. And we're going to unlock a couple of these things. Cool. So we got a miner, a power pole, and a wind turbine, which generates power. And let's also take a look at this upgrades thing. Get our menus out of here. So while these are technologies that you can build, the upgrades are upgrades to your mech. So you get more energy, more move speed, more inventory capacity, all sorts of things. And other stuff down here, as you unlock stuff, will become more obvious. So, enough of this menu, let's do some building. So let's go over to our iron ore. So I press F to open the replicator in the inventory. Let's place our miner. To place a miner, just drag it over. You can also access stuff from the menu down here. And there's some shortcuts, so if you press 1, that'll bring up the power menu. Press 2 to bring up the miner menu. And if you press R, it's going to rotate stuff 45 degrees. Or 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees. Angles, man. And then if you press Shift and R, you're going to slowly rotate stuff. We want to get all of these nodes covered. If we can. It's sometimes a bit of a puzzle. I'm going to try from this side. I don't know if I can get all of them in this node. You can have multiple miners on nodes, so we might just have to do that. Yeah, I think that angle's too wide. Also, if you're ever confused about controls, a little panel is going to show over here with some controls. A lot of them are contextual, so like if I'm building stuff, it's going to have building controls, R for rotate the building, Shift to ignore the grid snapping, right click to put back the item. Let's go to our power and power this up. So buildings need power, and wind turbines will generate power. Oh, look at that! Then if you click on a power building, you'll see the power load. We're not making enough, so we definitely have to make more. And the strength is at 100%. The circle means we're generating 74% of what is needed. So, also, if we click on our miner, we'll see how quickly it's mining. And it stopped because it's full. So early on, you're going to be doing a lot of this. Clicking this icon to get the resources. Now they're in my inventory, and then it can continue. Okay. So what do we need? We need more wind turbines. So to do that, press F to open the replicator. And then click. And okay, I have everything I need. 1, 2, 3. And even though I don't have these particular components in my inventory, because I have the ore and I have the stuff to make them, it's going to automatically make the stuff that I need for the item. And just a note, not all items can be replicated in the replicator. So a good thing about the wind turbines is that they generate power and kind of act like power poles themselves. What you can do is, to pick up a building, you can do shift click to copy it, and then you'll be able to build more. And then remember over here we can look at options that we have. So drag to plural construct. Ooh, I like constructing plurally. So if we hold on here and drag, we'll see that it's trying to place 3. This one's too close to this node, so we do have to move it a bit. But yeah, we can drag and make a nice grid. So we want to get power up to there. We also use power poles, which carry power a bit longer, but they don't generate power themselves. So early on, definitely make a lot of wind turbines. And as we can see, our satisfaction is 100% and our consumption is very low. So that's fantastic. Let's grab more of this. Let's make another miner. Oh no, we need copper, because each of these need copper. If you want to look in more detail on this tree for what certain things need, you just click on them. There you go. It brings down the tree, and then you can click again. It brings down the tree, and it brings up related stuff that these things go into. So we need, let's go back over here. We need copper for circuit boards and copper for coils. So if you need to manually mine, that's something that you can do. You just right click, it's gonna mine. I just pressed it once and it's gonna continuously mine. And we can even go to our replicator and say like, okay, oh, I can make 7 of them. Let's make 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now we've set up our first bits of automation, so now we're going to take some of our belts. To set a belt, you click where you want to start, and then you click again where you want to end. If you want to delete anything, you just go down here or press X to bring up the dismantle menu. You can also shift-click to chain dismantle a bunch of belts. Again, any controls are going to be over here, so if you're like, how do I do that? Check over here in the proper build menu. We're gonna go to not storage, production. So ore goes into smelters, and smelters make product that generally go into other stuff. So let's set up 2 here. Also want these sorters, and sorters work kind of the same way. You start belt and you go into the machine, and then if we want to go out, just build on the other side. It's always, the belts are always going to go in the direction that you click, so it's always going to start and then end. And then if I want to get stuff out of this machine, I click and I click again, click at the start, click at the end. We also want to set the recipe to iron ingots, so that's what we're going to be making. Also, what you can do is you can shift click to copy a building. If you have one set up and you want another setup just like it, it's going to actually copy the inserters and the recipes. And you can even click and drag if you want to set up multiple in a line, which is very nifty. Let's just get this going down here and here, because we want to set up our first little bit of automation. So we want to make belts. Let's see, how do we make belts? Since I don't want to have to go and replicate a bunch. So belts need plates and gears. So let's copy machine, and we go to gears. Most of the early stuff, aside from the plates, are going to be made in the assembler. There are other stuff that's made in other machines, but those come up much later. Not much later, but later. So we hook these up, make sure this is powered. So I'm gonna feel like I'm moving that. And we're going to take a box and put you here. And we take you, we put you in there. Excellent. Also, boxes can be capped, so we're not using everything up. You can cap it to whatever you want. Okay, let's also make some sorters. So sorters need iron plates and chips. Chips need copper. So we gotta bring stuff from our copper node. I went ahead and set up a copper smelter, very similar setup to the iron smelter. And I have this belt going back over here to our little mini mall / workshop we got going on. So we're gonna do the sorters this time. So let's copy this building. And again, we need chips. I just like copying and changing the recipe because I'm lazy. But this is a game about automation. It's about making yourself lazy. It's a good time. Okay, and then this just needs copper, and we're good to go. And a 200 stack is good for early game. So what you're going to want to do is, I'd say anytime you find yourself going into the replicator and saying, oh my gosh, I'm always out of this, I'm always out of that, just set up a little setup like this and you're going to have plenty of materials. It's going to make your gaming experience a lot more pleasurable. So yeah, I think we'll stop there for now. Next time we'll get into the science and how all that works. But I hope you found some of the tips in this video helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. You can also tune into my Twitch live streams. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, usually some type of simulation game. And no matter what game I'm playing, feel free to ask a Dyson Sphere question. And that's all for me, and take care.